Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me. I can see around 14 people in the feed. We just wait for 5 more minutes and then we'll start. Hello everyone, I am currently waiting for more people to join. And on in the comments, I can see people are commenting. Thank you everyone for the congratulations. And still now the results have not come out of the IM interviews. And whenever the results have come out, I am sure you will see it on the various channels. And it will just start in 1 minute. We're waiting for a few more people to join. Let everyone know. Yeah, thank you. All right, people. So let's start. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to iQuanta's live session on CAT 2024 preparation strategy. Brought to you by Souradeep Banerjee, which is myself. I got 99.95 percentile in CAT 2023, and today I'm going to share with you my preparation strategy on when I started my preparation, what were the things which were going on in my mind, how did I attempt the paper, what was my mentality going in, and ultimately how it was like to crack cat per se. I will respond to your comments later on. First, we'll see everything, and then we'll open the channel to questions. So let's begin. So first, there are some things which you have to remember before you begin a CAT preparation. What I feel personally is that CAT is an exam which requires more than just your mental ability and more than just your capability to answer questions. It requires all of these five things which you have to remember before attending the paper, attempting to even start your preparation. The first of them being mental preparedness, as in you have to be mentally very, very prepared, mentally very, very strong, because there will be many ups and downs in this next 6 months. Then you have to understand your goal, you have to set a target. Now, every aspirant, now CAT is such a beautiful exam. So many different people attempt the exam. There are engineers, there are people from the commerce background, there are people from the arts background, there are doctors who give the exam, there are people with work ex, there are people still in the final years, there are people with gap years. So, everyone is a very mixed audience who is giving the CAT exam. So everyone has a different. The ultimate goal is to reach the IIM, but to reach the IIM, everyone has a different percentile. Everyone has a different target. So you have to first understand what is your target, where do you want to reach, where do you want to get into, and what is your personal target. Like for example, I am a general engineer male. So, and in my final year, so I don't have a work experience. So for me, it was very clear I had to get more than 99.7, 99.8 percentile. So with that was the preparation, that was the amount of preparation I needed. So for your profile based, it might be something little, or it might be even higher. So accordingly, you have to set a goal. You have to understand your goal and you have to set a target, and accordingly, you have to prepare. Third is forward-looking attitude. You cannot live in the past. Like suppose you cannot live like 1 month ago I did not prepare. 1 month ago if I had prepared, not with that kind of mentality. You have to always look in the front. Okay, 1 month ago what was there, it was there. Now I have 2 months more in front of me. I have to work in the next 2 months more. I have to compensate for that 1 month in the next 2 months, and I have to do more. You have to always look into the future. You have to learn from the past. You have to not mistake. You have to learn from the mistakes of your past, and you have to work in the future. You have to better your future. You have to compensate and you have to work hard in the future for the future. Then the fourth one, very very important, is time management. As I mentioned, people from work X, people with gap year, people with final year will give CAT. So accordingly, you have to manage your time along with your other activities, along with your other commitments, along with your other free time and everything. You have to seek out the time. You have to. It should not. The CAT preparation can be very toll extracting at a point. I think you will be feeling very overwhelmed. But at the same time, you have to gradually, it's not a 1 day thing. You have to gradually come up with the mental ability to manage the time. You have to, I'm not saying it will happen just with the snap of a finger, but over time, you have to manage your time. You have to balance multiple things and you have to do things accordingly. And you have to do your preparation accordingly. And finally, you have to set your priorities. As in, what I mean by priorities is then what is your priority? Do you want to enjoy a festival or do you want to prepare a cat for the future? Do you want to enjoy a college fest or do you want to prepare for your cat? Do you want to go out and party one night or do you want to sit back at home and study a bit more? So that's a priority you have to set for yourself. Okay, what do you really want? What does give you real pleasure? Okay, once in a while is fine. Like once in a month you are going out to party, once in a month you are going out for a movie. That's fine. But if every week you are going out or every couple of days you are going out and you're not giving much or the focus is not on your cat preparation, then there's no reason to cry afterwards or no reason to say that life is unfair and don't go around saying ki engineers are bad and this or that. You have to set your priorities yourself. You have to give you know the reality, you know the situation, you know your goal, you know your target, and accordingly you have to make the sacrifices. Accordingly you have to make the priorities. So moving on, stop dreaming and start doing. You have to work for your own dreams. You have to work for your own. You yourself have to work for your own dream. If you keep dreaming and not doing, your dreams will not be fulfilled. So I'm sure most of you know there are three sections in the CAT paper: verbal ability and reading comprehension, logical reasoning and data interpretation, and quantitative reasoning. So I'll go step by step for each of the sections, and then we will wind it up with all the three. So first of all, we have verbal ability and reading comprehension. So as this is perhaps the most cliched strategy which I have come across, because everyone gives the same strategy, and sorry to say, but I am no different. But I will give a tip in the end. So read good articles and newspapers. What usually happens is, what I found out is that many past year papers had the RCs directly picked up from some standard newspapers like Guardian, New York Times, and those kind of things. So, and even some good online essay, online blogs. So those are the places where you can read, and you can not only will get good articles, but also perhaps one in a million chance that you the exact same article might come in one of the other form. Even in some question like para jumbles or para summary, I have seen certain extracts being picked up directly from the newspapers and articles. So read good articles, develop a reading habit. Then secondly, understand your level, prepare your answering strategy according. So understand your level in the sense that, like, some people, while my preparation journey, when I interacted with other people, I found out that many people are not so confident in their English, whereas many people are like, who are like, okay, fine, we can cope up. So you have to understand your level and where you stand. If you are weak in English, and it's no issue, it's nothing to be ashamed of or nothing to feel down because of it. It's okay, you have a lot of time, but at the same time, you have to work hard on that particular skill set or particular section which is your weak, and preparing on your answering strategy in the sense, like most of you would know, there are 24 questions in the VARC section. In that, 16 of them are the RC ones, which is like four RCs, and 8 of them are the VA ones, the verbal ability ones. So, answering strategy in the sense, you have to choose whether you want to answer all the four RCs and then perhaps answer 4 or 5 VA questions, or you want to answer all the three, only three RCs out of four, and spend time on solving the 8 VA questions. So, or if your speed is enough, then perhaps you can solve all the questions, all the 24. But you have to see whether your RC is stronger or your VA ability is stronger. Well, it might happen your RC is very strong, but your VA is not strong, which was the case with me. Like I remember, around out of 16 questions, I got 13 correct in RC, but in the case of verbal ability, I only got 4 out of 8. So that's the trade-off you have to do, and you have to understand where you stand, and you have to prepare a strategy. And the third point is similar: allocate study time to question types as per the level of ease and difficulty. Level of ease in the sense which is easier for you, as in, like, for me, para summary was easier than para jumbles. There was always that one combination I could not find properly, or there was something or the other where the para jumbles was my weakest. But on the other hand, para summary was quite my strength. So that was something I practiced. Like para jumbles, I devoted much of my time to improve them. So that you have to allocate your study time. If you're studying for 1 hour for VARC, or let's say only for VA, then you have to see which one needs more effort, which one needs more time, so that you can get the more returns of your time investment. And difficulty, in the sense, you should solve the moderate level questions more. I'm not saying that you will get like you should not solve easy questions. You should solve easy questions in the beginning and then boost your morale. But in the end, and you should not also always do the hard questions, because it's like if you're solving 10 hard questions, you might get only four, and you might get 6 questions wrong, and that might bring down your morale. That is not something you should do as an aspirant. It's a mental freshness which you have to maintain throughout this journey, and without that, in order to do that, you have to solve questions. Like out of 10 questions, you should get around 7 to 8 questions correct at a go. So am I audible? I hope I am audible. I just check the comments. I hope I am audible. Hello, is my voice audible? Can someone please write in the comments? Okay, now is it audible? Okay, I will perhaps go a bit slow. I think the mic is not able to take my speed. Okay, so allocate study time to the question time as per the level of ease and difficulty, as I already explained. And be regular with your practice. As I mentioned, in a week you have like 7 days. So in the 7 days you have to allocate your, like, you have to be very regular with your practice. You cannot be like, okay, one day I will sit from morning to evening and I will study for like 12 hours or 14 hours, and that's all. CAT is something like VA, and especially VAR is something like more you read, more you are in touch with the language. And the more you are in touch with the language, more you are being able to connect or relate to new articles and new everything. So that's what, be regular with the practice, and the more you are regular with the practice, the more you would see the benefits coming out of it. And finally, work on improving your reading speed and comprehension skills. As in, when you are reading the comprehension, you should be able to understand the comprehension. Now, how to do that? First, start off by taking some easy comprehensions, then gradually increase the level. I'm not telling you to read directly some very high level like a Guardian level newspaper. You can read some simple level newspaper like Times of India or Indian Express. Then you can gradually move towards Hindu. Those are some standard newspapers. And you should also work on improving your reading speed. It should not be like when there are 40 minutes in the section, VA section. It should not be like at 35, after 35 minutes you are completing your 4 RCs. Or like after 35 minutes you are completing your 3 RCs. That is pretty slow speed. So you should work on improving your reading speed. You should read more. You should understand and read more so that your reading speed is more, so that you can understand it better. I hope it makes sense to have both your speed and comprehension skills together. Moving on to the next section, the logical reasoning and data interpretation section. So before I start talk about anything on this, I would mention that in the last CAT, like I think CAT 2023, in the all the three slots, morning, afternoon, and evening slots, uh, in the final, okay, no, out of the four questions, as in 4 into 3, 12 sets, there was not a single data interpretation question. All the 12 sets were logical reasoning questions. But that doesn't mean that data interpretation will not come. That doesn't mean, perhaps it might happen that next year there's more data interpretation questions and no, not no, but still less logical reasoning question. But that is something which, little heads up. And consequently, the logical reasoning questions became much tougher because data interpretation was not there. Hence, the logical reasoning questions become much tougher. But all in all, logical reasoning was a section which I pretty much enjoyed solving, and I was very overwhelmed by this section. But how to overcome that overwhelming feeling? So, this is anyone, whenever someone comes to ask me, it's the first thing I say: constant and consistent practice is the key. Constant in the sense, you have to keep practicing. You cannot let any single day go. You have to solve at least two logical reasoning sets every day, regardless if it is on your calendar or not. If you want to do well in LR, you have to constantly keep saying, keep saying. Okay, and you have to constantly keep solving, no matter how much time it takes. You might solve one LR set in 20 minutes. It's okay, but you have to consistently keep practicing. Unless you keep practicing, and those are the moderate level sets, you should practice more moderate level sets. So unless you keep practicing, you would not get that bent of mind needed to solve the LR sets. So you would see, like, if you're practicing diligently for 6 months or even for 3 months, if you diligently practice, you would see the moment you see a question, your mind will automatically see the patterns in the question. Your mind will automatically see which point I have to see, which point, how to make the tables, which how to solve this question. It will automatically come only when you are in touch with the questions. Similar to the VA1 VAR section, you have to be in touch with the questions, in touch with the section, and you have to keep increasing your levels gradually. Again, if you start directly with the like if you directly start with the CAT question papers, then you will not you will just be so depressed that you don't want to give the CAT exam. But it's not like that. You have to start with the easy levels first. Start with the easy levels, then gradually increase the levels to moderate, and then finally, the more you practice, the more you would find the difficult level sets easier to crack. Easier to crack. Like for even for my section, we had four LR sets. So by the time, like 1 week before the CAT exam, all I was doing was solving LR sets. There is a playlist on iQuanta YouTube channel. On from there, I was continuously solving the LR sets, and on the on the day of the exam, of the four sets, I could solve three completely, and the fourth one also I had solved. But by the time I could see the questions, the time was already up. So whatever be the case, the key focus should be on improving the accuracy of attempts and the solving speed. It's not like tukka maar diya. Like you blindly write anything, you blindly attempt anything. It should be more like, if I'm solving only one set, I should get those 15 marks for sure. You should not get off like one set has five questions. So in that one five set question, one five question set, it should not be like you are scoring like only getting three questions right and two questions wrong. You should always focus more on improving the accuracy of the attempts. As in, suppose if you are scoring attempting three sets, the maximum you can score is 45, and 45 is like 99.9 percentile in the LRDI section. But if you are like out of 15 questions, you are getting only 10 right, or 10 is also fine. If you are getting only 6 or 7 right, then that brings down a total to around 20 or 20 or somewhere around that, 15 or 20 marks. So that's not a very good score. You had attempted for 45, but you got only 15. And that 15 will be around 85 or around that range. So that is not beneficial for you. And you have to also increase the solving speed. You cannot spend time on doing 1 hour, one set for 40 minutes. Then you will not get anything. You have to solve at least three sets, at least two sets, and try to get the third set also. And that will only come with constant practice. And this is the fourth point is very, very important, which I feel is that remember and utilize learnings from previously solved sets in your new set. And then even during my preparation, what happened was that I was solving a set, and perhaps the first time I solved the question, I was not able to get it. I looked up the solution, I resolved it. Then a few days later, I found a similar question. So now, because I had done a similar question before, now this time I was more confident, and this time I would crack it in one go. So why? But why? This was not the same question, but some of the things were pretty similar. So, but the thing was, I had to remember. I had to. It was not like I oh question kiya tha. Oh, that time I did. Now I forgot. Now a new question. It's not like that. You have to remember the past learnings, and you have to utilize those learnings in the next sense. That is why constant practice is needed. That is why over a period of time you have to consistently practice. So you draw the patterns. You get the connection. The fifth point, be smart in selecting the sets. Choose easily solvable sets. As in, out of the four sets that comes, it happens that one set is like that, which definitely which will need, legit, it will need 20 minutes to solve. So you should not select that set, right? You should select those sets which will be solvable in like 7 to 8 minutes. There are like out of the four sets, there will be one set which is very easily solvable, and one set which is very, very time consuming. Leave the time consuming one, solve the easily solvable, and try to make the most of the remaining two. That you have that, and how will you identify which set is easily and which set is difficult? That will come with practice. That will come with knowing like okay, this question looks big, so if there are more clues, then it might be easier. If there's less clues, then it might be tougher. It's kind of counterintuitive, but go through the material, go through the classes, you will see the point. And but you have to be very smart in selecting the sets. Otherwise, it's your loss. And finally, this is something which I will always keep mentioning. LRDI is perhaps the most difficult section in the paper, in the CAT paper. Yes, quant is also very, very difficult. But LRDI is something, quant is something formula based. But LRDI is something you cannot predict. You cannot really predict what will come in the next time or what is the kind of question. Like we were hoping for at least one DI question, but there was no DI question. All four were logical reasoning questions. So it's very difficult to predict, and it's very difficult to even not very difficult, but it's quite difficult to get into the zone of easily solving LR questions in 8 minutes or 10 minutes. So persistence is the key. Don't feel dejected. Keep trying and keep practicing. Keep trying. It's okay if you're at one day you are not able to solve the questions, and if you are not able to, if you're not up to speed to say, but it's fine. Just keep practicing. Be persistent. It might happen that one day you are solving 5 sets, none of them you are getting in one try. It's okay. Learn from the mistakes. Learn where "Acha, at this point I reached the dead end. Perhaps I have to see some other point of view to get the answer. See the solution. Learn from the solution. Don't be hesitant in looking at the solution. This is something which many candidates do, that they don't want. They are like, no, I will not see the solution. I will spend more time in getting the answer. But that is, you are just wasting your time. You have a very limited time balancing so many things. You have to see the solution. You have to move on to the next question. It's not a, this personally I feel it's a very grave mistake which people do. I will do it on my own. I will start from the beginning. That is something even I have done. Start from the beginning, do it again and again. Same question 3, 4 times. It's not a wise thing to do. To see the solution, understand where you make the mistake, and because you are repeating the same mistake again and again by doing it again and again. So understand your mistake and move on. That's what you should do. And finally, coming to the favorites section of non-engineers. I'm just kidding. The quantitative aptitude section, which was legit very not very but still very difficult last year. And the thing that came up to, like, everyone was saying after the CAT exam was like it was a very biased for engineers. It was very like non-engineers के लिए paper था ही नहीं. They only want engineers so and so. But I will tell you, as an engineer coming out of the third slot, the paper felt very tough, especially the quant section. The VA and LR parts were pretty fine, but the quant part was like out of 22 questions, I could solve only 13. And but even in 13, I got around 11 correct, and my quant percentile was 99.91. So that's the thing. You have to understand your key strengths and work on your basics. If you are an engineer, you are a bit ahead in this curve, but that doesn't mean the non-engineers cannot be up to speed. Quant questions, what I've usually observed is it targets your basics. If you have the basic mathematical understanding, and even here also, if you can understand what is happening, understand what is the root of the question. Every mathematical question has a particular root, as in it might look like an arithmetic question, but it might be a number system question. It might look like a geometry question, but it will be an arithmetic question or an algebra question, function लगा के. So that is something which you have to understand from the basic. Like, and here also I have not written here. I have written. You have to keep working hard. You have to keep practicing. Quant is something which I perhaps saw like maximum questions in quant before going. Like around 40 questions per day. Yeah, you should try to solve. And here also, if you are unable to solve, you should not what you call. You should not be like, no, I will sit and solve. See the solution, and there are many questions in quant, especially as I mentioned, only 13 out of 22. So those remaining 9 questions were such which you should leave, and there's no shame in leaving, or there's no harm in leaving the questions, because if you attend the questions and you get the wrong answer, if you put the wrong answer, then you will get a negative, and that is something that happened in one question of the 30. So I think I should have left that, whatever. But the thing is, you should be very selective in answering the questions, very safe in answering the questions, and you have to understand the problem's root. And I think most of you would know there are basically 5 sections in the quantitative aptitude preparation. So the 5 of them being number system, arithmetic, algebra, geometry, and yeah. So apart from that, I think there's some network issue on my end. Am I audible? Can someone mention in the chat, please? This is a live stream. This is not recorded. I don't know what is happening in the chat, but someone please mention that if it is audible or not. I hope I am audible. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Devanshu. So, and then here again, as it was the case with LR, you have to retain your learnings from the previously solved questions. As in, when you're solving one quant question, the same concept might be repeated in some other question. This is perhaps the most repetitive section of quant of the CAT, but at the same time, a very uh, at the same time very what do you call? You have to put more effort into it. You have to repeatedly solve the questions. You have to repeatedly study and study, study, and you have to repeatedly get the connections. And once you do, consistency and perseverance is the key. You have to persevere. It might happen, like especially non-engineers. I understand it's very difficult for you to to solve the level of questions which comes in CAT. But I would say work hard and keep practicing, and that's all. Coming to the final part of this of the preparation strategy, which will be mock tests. So mock tests are a very very important part of CAT preparation. So you should give your first mock latest by August or September, latest by like last week of August or early by September. You should not delay it that much. Even if your syllabus is not over by that time, then you should just give a mock once and see how to attempt the CAT in limited time in a time occupied scenario. How to what are the questions you are unable to solve. It acts as a good reality check and where I currently stand and how much I need to get more. And don't get demotivated or dejected from poor scores. It's very legible that your first few mocks will be very poor. Like in the very first few mocks, it was like around 60, 70 I was getting. And but then you have to pick yourself up and you have to again get to speed. You have to again work. You have to again, okay, I made the mistake here, or perhaps I made a wrong set selection, or perhaps this question I should have left. I spent more time here. These are the learnings which you get by giving more and more mocks. So learn from your mistakes and analyze each attempt properly. You have to see, okay, this why it might happen कि one question आपने तुक्का मारा हो और वो सही हो गया हो. You have to go and see कि what was the actual solution. You cannot just be happy, okay, my tukkas were right, so it's fine. I got the marks. You should understand, you also have the learning approach. कि, okay, regardless of my final score, how much did I solve on my own and how much could I learn from my mistakes? Identify the scope of improvement and the places of error and how to avoid them. As in, what were the area? If I'm making the same mistake repeatedly, as in you are selecting the wrong set again and again, then perhaps that needs more time, right? If you are solving, like suppose for example, in maths in quant, there is a let's say area of circle. If in one mock you're having a question on area on circle, you did it wrong, fine. Next mock again you did it wrong. Again, like three, four mocks you're getting that same question wrong. Or similar question wrong. So that is something which you have to improve. That is something you have to see. Okay, this is something which is nudging me again and again. So like for my example, it was para jumbles which was nudging me again and again. So I devoted more time into solving parajumbles, more time into doing more or trying to improve my parajumble strike rate. And out of four, I hope I could get three or four out of four. So that is something which I wanted to or I focused my energy towards. Then learn to leave lengthy questions. Look for higher accuracy, even with the lower number of questions attempted. So as I mentioned, like out of the 198 total marks of CAT, my raw score was around 111 and my scale score was around 107. So it's around 60% of the marks, 55 to 60% of the marks, which happens. So for 60% of the marks, I had attempted like almost 80% of the questions. So and I've left the remaining 20% of the questions because they were very lengthy. So if you spend more time on your lengthy questions, you will not be able to attend more questions, right? And even in the so that's the selection you have to do. And even with the lower number of questions, if suppose you are answering only 10 out of let's say 18 questions, about 22 questions, if I suppose are answering only 15, then in that 15 questions, you have to attempt at least 10 to 12 questions correctly. So it's not of use if you are answering all 22 questions, but you are getting only 7 or 8 right, then it's futile. तुमको कुछ काम नहीं आएगा वो बाकी के 15 क्वेश्चन. It will only add to your negative. So that is something which you have to avoid. In my quant, for example, I got only one negative. So that is something which you have to aim for. So and finally, accept and own your mistakes. Don't be in denial. What usually happens is this. I felt this happened to me very much. That personally happened with me very much. That I used to like suppose for one day it happened that my mock test score was not up to mark. I used to give excuses to myself. Okay, this reason happened. That's why I didn't score more. This was the reason I couldn't devote time. That's why I couldn't prepare. This was like ये था उसकी वजह से मैं नहीं कर पाया. But at the end of the day, you're just fooling yourself. At the end of the day, it's of no use to you. You have to accept your mistake. Okay, I got a less marks. That's the end of the statement. I could not prepare well. That's the end of the statement. How I will improve it, that I have to see. But the end line is not that some XYZ happened. That's why I. There is no that's why. What happened is your marks are low. What happened is you didn't score well. What happened is you couldn't prepare well. And that is the bottom line. That is what you have to improve. That is where you have to see, you have to set your priorities, you have to make the sacrifices. You have to see why I didn't prepare, why I'm making the same mistakes again, why I couldn't give a mock properly. And you have to only work towards your dreams. You have to only work towards getting the best. And the final words on that note would be sacrifices need to be made. And this will be a very uh, goal exacting. You will be very pressure under tremendous pressure, and so for that reason, you have to keep your friends and family close. I was very blessed to have my friends. My like I'm still in college, so I have a lot of friends around. So I was very fortunate to have those friends with me in this entire journey, and even my family members were very supportive. They never said ki get 99.95 percentile. That was the target I set to myself. But they always said, ki, like, whatever you do, do diligently. And my friends were always with me, and they understood, ki, okay, this person needs the side support. We will give him the right side support. We will be there with him. We will perhaps tolerate a few of his uh, things which should not be tolerated normally, but they were very good to me, and enough can never be said about them. And thirdly, dare to take the tough decisions. You have to make it goes along with sacrifices need to be made. You have to take the tough decisions. You have to prioritize your effort. You have to prep. This is a very important part of your strategy to take the tough decisions. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to see what works best for you. You have to stay away from distractions as much as possible. Just a few days back, I was thinking that in my sixth semester, like I gave my CAT in my seventh semester. So in my sixth semester, I was a very laid back guy. I was not that much active, to say the word. But in the seventh semester, I set a goal for myself and I moved away from distractions as much as possible. That is something even you have to do. You have to, no matter the past, you have to see the future and you have to work in the present. And it's okay to not be the best every single day. It's very okay. It might happen. Not everyone has a like is unable. It's not possible to sustain at the 100% every day. But you have to keep trying. You have to keep. It's okay if you're not best. Come back again the next day. The key is persistent and grit. Don't let one bad day ruin your entire preparation. If you're letting just the one single bad day to ruin your entire preparation, then like it might happen like you gave a mock and then you're not getting good marks. You're like मुझे करना ही नहीं है ये तो मुझसे हो ही नहीं रहा ये छोड़ दो. That is not the thing. You have to persistent. You have to be very consistent, and you have to okay. Times will improve. Things will change. You have to stay humble. You have to seek assistance, and you have to be honest to yourself. You have to seek assistance from your peers, all the other people in the groups, various groups who are attempting CAT, who are going to give CAT. You have to be honest to yourself. Okay, I was not able to do. If you are fooling yourself, then it will never help you in the long run. You have to be honest to yourself. Okay, I did not give that much time which was needed, and perhaps I did not work as much I needed. But it's okay. I will work. I will go back and I will work again. And on that note, you have to work for your own dreams yourself. If you don't work for your own dreams yourself, there's no point. No one is there to work for you. Only you can work for yourself hardest. That is something I will repeat again and again. No matter the other strategies, what I feel is CAT is a test of your character more than your aptitude. You can solve hundreds of questions. You can solve millions. You can go on millions of discussion forums and get more and more questions. But you can build on your aptitude more and more. But what I personally feel is that CAT is more a test of your character, how strong of an individual you are, how well can you cope up with the pressure, how well can you are you up for the test. And I've seen it in many places that CAT is just the easiest leg of your entire MBA journey. But I would say CAT in itself is a very solid start to your MBA journey, because it's truly, and I will die saying this word, that CAT is a test of your character more than your aptitude. So on that note, I would say best of luck to all the aspirants. I hope this was a very informative session for all of you. I hope I could satisfy your questions. And now I will open the chat forum. Uh, let's see. So, any questions in the chat? I'm seeing what was your college in BTech? So, I'm currently a final year student in NIT Goa. So, yeah, that's all. I'm a computer science engineer, or to be computer science engineer, hopefully. Then resources for VARC. Resources for VARC, you can go to the iQuanta page. They on the group they give regular questions. They give. I'm seeing they are giving regular RCs. They even have the daily VA questions. The thing is to form a regular habit of solving the questions. You should solve. It should not be like okay, one day I'm solving, other day I'm not solving. It's not a on and off thing. It's a consistent effort. You have to do consistently. You have to be regular in your preparation, and that's I think is the key to thing. And specifically speaking, you should read more newspapers. You should read articles. There's a website called Aeon SS, AEON SS. You should seek that out. You should read on that, and I think that should do it for you. Yeah. The results are not out yet. So I did give interview for all the three ABC. A and B, I went to the college. Like I went to I am Ahmedabad and I am Bangalore. Um, so very beautiful, Bangalore especially a very beautiful campus. And let's see what happens. I hope everyone at iQuanta will, or like you will get the news very soon. I hope. Yeah, it's AEON, Aeon SS. Aeon is for getting the essays. Like it's a they give very big essays, so you can read them and you can. The content of the essays are very nice. You can read them all. Uh, Second year student, is it in which like is in BTech or is in some other course? How to utilize it? It's like it's free of cost. You can simply go and read the essays and just build a reading habit. if you're looking for like exact resources, then if you're given exact resources, then you can take up iQuanta's uh, VRC per bundle, or you can join the groups. I think you will find that better on the website. And okay, yeah, Bandar, I'll come back to you. Priyanshu, yes, BTech. So I'll tell you a thing. Like one of my current juniors, he also has been giving the. He also has been preparing for CAT ever since his second year. So it's never too early to start. It's never too late to start. I started my preparations from May end. Before May, like in the first week of May, I was not like in April. I wasn't even sure I was going to go for CAT. I wasn't even sure I was going to go for CAT. I started my preparation from May ending, and like June, July also I was in like I was doing an internship. I didn't get much time. So proper if you say I started from August. But that's the thing. You have to be diligent. It's not like how many months you need to complete your syllabus. It's like how quickly can you complete your syllabus? How quickly are you able to devote? I'm not saying like you would need the same time as me. You have your own requirements. You are a different individual than me. So you have to know what is your requirement, and you yourself have to work in the same model. So Priyansu, to answer your questions, you can start anytime you want. Just be consistent and keep working. All the best. Prachi, it's okay if you are weak in quants. Don't feel demotivated. Try to learn the basics. Try to, as I mentioned, try to complete number system first. Number system, it happened to me like I don't know, the stars were aligned or something. But while preparing for quant, while preparing in that April September phase, in one of my courses in my college, they were teaching number systems. So that is something which really helped me. I could very like after attending the class in college, I would come back, and when I used to solve the quant questions, I would naturally get the knack of it. So it was a very helpful thing to do number systems, and this is something I felt personally. So that is something which you should do. You should work on improving. You should start with number systems, then gradually move on to arithmetic. Arithmetic is more intuitive. Then algebra for sure. These are some high mark weightage questions, high weightage sections. That is something which you should do. Prepare more and more. And finally, geometry and modern maths. It's you can just see few formulas and you can. But this the first three. Number system does not have that much weightage, I would say. But number system from a understanding point of view helps you a lot. So that is something which you should really focus. I hope and keep working. Don't feel demotivated. It's still a long time to go. It's only April. It will happen in November. It's 6 months, so there's not an issue. Keep working. The roughly weightage for time and distance, I think around 2 to 3 questions come from time and distance. I don't think there will be more than 3 questions in any set. 2 to 3 questions should be there, around 9 marks. And okay, Jelena, in DILR, while reading the long passages and able to solving them is difficult for me. I can able to answer question in DILR live application. It's okay if I'm not able to solve the questions on spot, but the thing is, the question you should ask yourself is, are you able to understand the solution? Try to understand the solution, even if you're not able to answer it right now. It's totally fine. You have time to work on yourself. You have to be consistent. And I know it sounds repetitive at this point. I'm doing the same thing again and again. But there's literally no other compromise on that thing. You the thing is you have to understand the solution well. You have to keep practicing. I will tell you for the first 2 weeks of my DILR preparation, I was not able to solve a single. But that doesn't mean that I did not. I stopped my preparation. I kept working. I kept trying. I kept trying. It's okay if you don't get the questions at the go, but just keep trying. Don't feel demotivated. Just do. Understand the solution and try to do. The effort matters. If you are honest with your efforts, then over the period of time, it will definitely come. Respect the paper, respect the question, then the question will again give you the weightage. Then just answer the line. And I know this sounds a bit stupid, but it works for me, so I will be its biggest preacher. Yeah. I'm not able to sit down and focus for more than 25 minutes, even if I want to. How to increase sitting hours? This is something I feel usually happens because you are not, or like we are not doing something which we truly enjoy. As in, it might, I'm not saying that you will enjoy all the sections equally. You might have a soft spot or you might have a quick spot for something. Like for me, it was like LR was something I did not want to do much, like repetitively, because I was not able to solve LR in the beginning. But quant was something which I could solve relatively easier. So I used to, and RC I used to find a bit boring at times. I'm not saying we should not do, but as a mental state which we go through over the period of time. So answering your question, do the questions or do the sections which interest you. You might like to read more, so solve RC questions. You might like to solve puzzles more, so solve LRDI questions. You might like to solve like mathematical questions more, so try to solve the quant section. In the first, like because you have the that kind of you're unable to focus. So I would say you should focus like for first at least for 1 week. You should solve only those section in which आपका interest बैठ रहा है, in which what you want to do. So if you are like then what will happen in 1 week you will get a very high moral boost, and once you get that boost, then you can use that boost, use that morale to try to do the other things. First, you have to get into the water, you have to get knee deep, then only you can try to catch the fish or try to catch the whatever. I hope I'm making sense in this analogy. But like, if you are putting only your like खाली आप feet को अंदर डाल के वापस बाहर ला रहे हो, so that will not work. You will never get into the water. You have to get your knees deep or thighs deep, waist level deep आपको जाना पड़ेगा. Then only you can start swimming. Is what I'm saying. I hope I didn't make a mess in that answer. I hope I answered your question. How much does learning 10 new words daily help in your exam? I would say it's not a bad thing, Vishal, to learn 10 new words every day. I would definitely not say you don't. If you are already doing it and if you are motivated enough to do it, please do it. But at the same time, I was not someone who was too motivated to do it. But then I compensated that with some other sources of like entertainment, like watching those stuff which use like I used to watch. I used to listen to multiple podcasts. I used to watch videos of John Oliver and those kind of like journalists who spoke good English. So from there you learn the fluency and the sentence structure and the vocabulary. So whatever works for you, you do. And I would not never say you don't study. It always it nothing. Whenever you're learning something new, it always helps you one way or the other. So yeah, I think I answered your question. How can I improve myself in solving RC and DILR? Can you suggest some books or iQuanta enough? What I feel, Jerina, is that improve myself in solving RC and DILR. So these are the DILR I mentioned. You have to see the solutions. You have to keep practicing. You have to be persistent with your answers. In RC also, it's very very okay if you are unable to answer directly. Just keep trying, keep reading more and more. And I'm not saying it will happen in a week or in a day or in a month. It will take a bit of a time. It will take some more than 1 month, but in the end, you will gradually see the efforts giving the results. It's like we always, whenever we are, like if you have ever played, like for example, on the top of my head, if I ever played Most Wanted, where there are like 15 levels of blacklist. So you don't reach directly to the first blacklist. You have to first complete each and every level, and then only you can reach to a top level. So similarly, for RCs and DILR, you have to solve the simple ones. You have to learn from them, and then you can reach to the quickness and the what is really needed, to the swiftness of the attempts and the solving ability. And just keep trying, keep working hard. That there's no other better mantra for it. And for resource wise, iQuanta has been very consistent in updating their syllabus and their curriculum, and their support is also very fantastic. Their peer connection is also very fantastic. And this I'm saying because I myself have used that and seen the rewards. So I'm not saying because they have asked me to, but this is something which I myself have felt that I would not have been connected to so many. Okay, yeah. So on that note, I would say uh, thanks a lot for joining in, and I hope you liked the session. I hope I could answer your questions well, and all the best. And I hope I can do much more sessions in the future. Thank you.